DMT. You've probably heard it called the spirit molecule, right? Well, behind that name, there's this incredible story that weaves together ancient Amazonian rituals and some seriously cutting-edge neuroscience. So today, we're going to break down exactly where this powerful psychedelic comes from, how it literally rewires the brain, and why scientists are getting so excited about its potential to revolutionize medicine.
But to really understand DMT, we don't start in some high-tech lab. Nope. Our story begins deep in the Amazon rainforest with a sacred brew that's been at the heart of spiritual ceremonies for centuries. So this traditional brew, it's called ayahuasca. And the way it's made, it's just this fascinating example of incredible indigenous knowledge. So what's the secret sauce? What gives it such powerful properties? It all comes down to a super clever bit of natural chemistry. You see, the first plant, these leaves, they've got the DMT. But here's the thing, if you just drank a tea made from those leaves, enzymes in your gut would destroy the DMT before it could ever reach your brain. It just wouldn't work. That's where the second plant comes in. The vine contains these other compounds that act like an activator. They basically switch off those specific enzymes in your gut, clearing a path for the DMT to travel all the way to the brain and do its thing. Pretty amazing, right?
Okay, so the DMT is active, it's in the brain, now what happens? This is where our story takes a sharp turn from the rainforest right into the world of neuroscience. First, we've got to talk about a chemical your brain is using literally right now: serotonin. It's this super important neurotransmitter that's involved in, well, just about everything, from your mood to your sleep. You can think of it as one of the brain's master regulators. Now here's what's so wild. DMT's molecular structure looks so much like serotonin that it can basically slip right into the same receptors in the brain, especially a big one called the 5-HT2A receptor. It kind of turns the key in the lock. This is the classic signature of psychedelics. But look over here at what it doesn't interact with, the dopamine system. And that is a huge deal. Why? Because so many addictive drugs work by hijacking the brain's dopamine reward pathways, which is what creates that powerful craving to use them again and again. DMT just doesn't play that game. It doesn't activate that system, which really sets it apart from a lot of other substances out there. But wait, the story doesn't stop with serotonin. Researchers are finding that DMT is kind of like a master key, fitting into a bunch of other important locks in the brain. It talks to glutamate receptors, which are all about learning and memory. And it hits these other ones, like the sigma-1 and TAIR receptors, which seem to play a role in everything from protecting our brain cells to the psychedelic experience itself. So, you've got this molecule that's doing all this incredibly complex and powerful stuff in the brain. The next logical question for any scientist is, could we actually use this for something? Could this molecule help heal the mind? One of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the last few years is DMT's ability to boost something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or just BDNF. Seriously, you can think of BDNF as Miracle-Gro for your brain. It's a protein that helps your neurons, your brain cells, not just survive, but actually grow and form new connections. That process is called neuroplasticity, and it is absolutely essential for learning, for memory, and for recovering from any kind of brain injury. And we can see this powerful effect in action. It's not just a theory. Look at these animal studies on stroke. When blood flow to the brain gets cut off, you get what's called an ischemic injury. Well, the results were just staggering. The animals that were treated with DMT had way less brain damage compared to the group that didn't get it. It suggests this powerful neuroprotective effect. This research is just blowing the doors off what we thought was possible. What we're looking at here is a potential shift in how we think about treating brain disorders, moving past just managing symptoms to maybe, just maybe, actively promoting healing and repair in the brain. It's like a whole toolkit of effects, and that's why there's so much excitement around its potential for everything from stroke to Alzheimer's. And where this gets really real is when we look at the human research, especially for depression. In a gold standard clinical trial, patients with severe depression, the kind that hasn't responded to other treatments, were given a single dose of ayahuasca. The study found a robust, fast-acting antidepressant effect that just blew the placebo out of the water. So this all sounds incredible, right? Protecting brain cells, growing new ones, rapid antidepressant effects. But what does it actually take to turn this from a promising chemical in a lab into a safe, approved, and effective medicine you can get from a doctor? It is so easy to get swept up in the excitement, and let's be clear, the potential here is enormous, but science demands that we be really careful and methodical.
These early findings are like exciting signposts on a map, but they aren't the final destination.
The road from the lab to the clinic is a long one. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We need much bigger clinical trials to confirm these results, and, critically, to make sure it's safe over the long term. And this part is absolutely essential. Researchers stress this is not about creating a pill you just pick up at the pharmacy. For these treatments to work safely and effectively, they have to be paired with the guidance of a trained psychotherapist.
And that leaves us with this final, massive thought. While there are still so many questions to answer, a sacred brew from the Amazon is now sitting at the absolute frontier of modern neuroscience. It's challenging everything we thought we knew about consciousness and opening up entirely new ways to think about healing the mind. The spirit molecule's journey from the rainforest to the lab? Yeah, it might just be getting started.